Hello everyone, in the last lecture we have discussed about the component ballast. So in this lecture we will discuss about the next component, that is track fasteners. So what do we mean by fixtures and track fastenings? So all those fittings which are required for connecting the rails end to end and for fixing the rails to the sleepers in a track are known as fixtures and fastenings. Okay, so that means the fittings or the fasteners which are commonly used to connect the rail to rail and to connect rail to sleeper are known as fixtures and fastenings. So some fasteners are there which are used to connect rail to rail, and some fasteners are there which are used to connect rail to sleeper. Okay, so some of them are faceplate, spikes, bolts, chairs, keys, blocks, bearing plate. Okay, so the main function of these fasteners are to keep the rails in proper position, to connect rail to rail and to connect rail to sleeper, and to allow for free expansion and contraction of rails. So for these purposes these fasteners or these fixtures are used in the railway track. So next we will discuss about these fasteners one by one. So first one is faceplate. So a faceplate, or we can say splice bar or joint bar, is a metal bar that is bolted to the ends of two rails to join them together in a track. So here you can see this is one rail and this is another rail, and this is the faceplate. Here you can see this plate. Okay, this is the faceplate. So here the faceplate is used to connect one rail to another rail by the help of bolts. So here these are bolts. Okay, so here you can see this faceplate. This faceplate is used to connect one rail to another rail. Okay, so next is requirements of faceplates. So the first point is they must support the rail and the top of the foot. Then the next point is they should allow free movement of rails for expansion and contraction. So the faceplates should connect the rail ends in such a way that the rails can freely expand and contract due to the temperature variation. Okay. Then the next point is they should bear stresses due to lateral and vertical bending moments. Okay, so the faceplate should resist or should bear the stresses which is generally caused due to the transverse load of wheel load. Then the next point is they should hold ends of rail both laterally in line and vertically in level. That means the faceplates should keep the rails in their proper position. That means there should be no vertical gap between two rails and there should be no lateral gap between the two rails. The next point is they should not wear due to impact and expansion and contraction. The next is the length of faceplate is limited. Okay, so the length of faceplate should not exceed 457 mm in India. Okay, so these are some requirements of a faceplate. Then next come to face bolts. Okay, so here also face bolts are used to connect rail to rail. Okay, so first we have seen that the faceplates are used to connect rail to rail, and also face bolts here also used to connect rail to rail. So generally holes are drilled through plates and web of rails, and then face bolts and nuts are provided in these holes. So generally for the fitting, holes are made of larger dia, generally 5 mm to 6 mm, to allow expansion and contraction. But these bolts get loose by the traffic variations, so it requires tightening from time to time. Okay, so face bolts are generally made up of medium or high carbon steel, and for 44.7 kg rail, a bolt of 2.5 centimeter dia and length 12.7 centimeter is used. Okay, see here you can see, this is one rail and this is the another rail, and this is the fish plate. Okay, so here the fish plate and bolt are used to connect the two rail ends. Okay, so generally holes are drilled through the fish plate and through the web of rails. Then these fish bolts and nodes are provided in these holes. In this way the bolts are used to connect the two rail ends. Then next come to spike. Okay, so here these spikes are used to connect rail to wooden slipper. Okay, so these spikes are used here to connect rail to wooden slipper. Here you can see this is spike. Okay, so a rail spike is a large nail with an offset head that is used to secure rails and base plates to slipper. Okay, so here you can see this look like a large nail and here it is the offset head. Okay, and in this diagram you can see here this is the spike, how these spikes are used to connect the rails and rails to slipper. Okay, here you can see these are wooden slippers. Okay, here this is the wooden slipper. Okay, so generally these spikes are used to connect the rail to wooden slipper. The next is requirements of spike. So the spikes should be strong enough to hold rail in position and enough resistance to motion to retain its position. Okay, the next is cheap in cost. The next, deep as possible for better holding power. That means the spikes should be large in depth for the better holding power. The next is it should be easy in fixing and removal from slippers. The next point is capable of maintaining the gauge. Okay, so these are some requirements of spike. So spike means it is used to connect the rail to wooden slippers. So there are different type of spikes like dog spike, rounded spike, then elastic spike. So first one is dog spike. So dog spike here, so generally dog spikes are commonly used and they hold rail flanges with timber slippers. So these dog spikes also used to connect rail to wooden slipper, and their shape of head resembles like ear of dog, so hence called dog spike. So this is the dog spike. Here you can see, so you can see this is the head. Okay, this is the head of the dog spike and this head resembles ear of dog, so hence this type of spikes are called as dog spike. Okay, the next point is section of spike is square. Okay, here you can see this cross section of this spike. Okay, cross section of this spike is square and bottom part is either pointed or chisel shaped. Okay, so if we cut here, if we cut here or at any point of this spike, then we can see that the cross section of this spike is square shape and it is generally pointed or chisel shaped at the bottom part. Okay, then generally this type of spikes are cheap Okay, that's why they are commonly used, and they are easy in fixing and removing from slippers, and it also maintain better gauges. Then next come to screw spike. So here you can see these are screw spike. Okay, so here these threads are generally V shape. Okay, here you can see these threads are generally V shape. Okay, and here its head is circular shape with a square projection. Here you can see this is the cross section of its head. Okay, this is the cross section of its head. So its head is circular shape with square projection. Here you can see this square projection, and this is the circular head. Okay, so these screw spikes are generally tapered screws with V threads used to fasten rails with timber slipper. Okay, here also these screw spikes are used to connect the rails with the wooden slipper, and its threads are generally V shape, and its head is circular with square projection. Okay, so here you can see its head is circular with square projection, and its holding power is double than that of dog spike, but it is more costly. That's why it is not generally used, as the dog spikes are economic, are cheap in cost. That's why they are mostly used. Okay, and but the holding power is more than that of the dog spike due to the as its cost is more. That's why it is not used. The next is it resists lateral thrust in better way, and but the gauge maintenance is very difficult in case of screw spikes. Then its driving operation is similar to dog spikes. Okay, so the installation process of dog spike is similar to that of the screw spike. Then next come to round spikes. Okay, so this is the round spike. Okay, so its head either cylindrical or hemispherical shape. Here you can see its head looks like cylindrical, okay, or its head maybe look like hemispherical. Then these round spikes are used for fixing chairs of bull-headed rails to wooden sleepers. Okay, so these round spikes are generally used to connect the fixing chairs of bull-headed rails to the wooden slipper. Okay, but as the bull-headed rails are now limitedly used, so this type of spikes are also used limitedly. Okay, the next come to elastic spike. Here you can see this is the elastic spike. It provides better grip and results in reduction of wear and tear of rail, and these are generally used in British railways. Then next come to chairs and keys. Okay, so for double headed and bull headed rails, chairs are used to support them in position. So here the chairs and keys are used for the double headed rail and bull headed rails to keep them in proper position. Okay, and these chairs are generally made up of cast iron, and it helps to distribute load from rails to slipper, and chairs have been fixed to slippers using wooden spikes or screw spikes. Okay, so here you can see this is the chair. Okay, this is known as chair. So here you can see these chairs are used to keep the rails here. Okay, to keep the rails in proper position, and these chairs are connected with the slipper with the wooden spikes or screw spikes. Okay, so here you can see these are chair which are generally used in case of bull headed rail or double headed rail, okay, to keep them in proper position. Okay, and they are used they are connected with the wooden slipper with the wooden spikes. Okay, and here you can see this is the key, this is known as key, and this is inserted with the within the so these keys are inserted in between the rail and the jaw of the chair. Okay, so there are two jaws in the chair. Okay, this is one jaw and this is another jaw. Okay, and this is the rail seat. Okay, this is the rail seat. Okay, so generally chairs are used to keep the rails in proper position, and they are connected with the wooden slippers with the help of wooden spikes or screw spikes. And chair consists of two jaws and a rail seat that I have already discussed, that there are two jaws in chair and one rail seat. Okay, the next point is wave of rail is held in inner jaw of chair and a key is driven between the rail and the jaw of chair. Okay, so here a key is driven between the rail and jaw of chair. So here you can see this is the rail, this is the rail, and this is the chair. And here you can see this key is driven in between this rail and chair. Okay, so chairs and keys are used to keep the rails in their proper position. The next come to bearing plates. So these bearing plates are generally used to connect the flat footed rails to the slipper. Okay, so these are generally rectangular plates of mild steel or cast iron. Here you can see this is the bearing plate which is used to connect the flat footed rails to the slipper. Okay, so it is used below the flat footed rails to distribute the load on a larger area of timber slipper, and these are placed below rails carrying heavy vehicles at high speeds. Okay, so generally the advantages of bearing plate is it helps to distribute the load to slippers over large area and prevent the sinking of rail in soft wooden slippers, and also it increases life of slipper as it prevents the destruction of slipper due to rubbing action of rail. Okay, so this is all about the bearing plate. Okay, so the bearing plate is used to connect the flat footed rails to the slipper. Okay, so this much all about today's class. In the next lecture we will discuss about the geometric design of the broad gauge. Okay, thank you.